People who don't like me don't stop my praise. The enemy is doing the absolute best he can to discourage you and to whip you to make you feel like you're not gonna make it to your next. Do I have a witness in here? Because you don't need to be around somebody that's intimidated about your future. You don't need to be sitting by somebody that's jealous of what God's getting ready to do. If you are discouraged that yoke tonight has been broken, I come tonight with the prophetic declaration that there is nothing that shall be able to stop you from getting to the place that God has ordained for you to be. Whatever is standing before you, it has no power. Tell them you are unstoppable. You're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. People who don't like me don't stop my praise. The enemy is doing the absolute best he can to discourage you.
Here we go, up and running live again. Here for another powerful, unstoppable live program. Now, tonight, let's just make sure everybody is hearing me loud and clear. If you can hear me right now, make sure I see some flames that go up in the comment section. Once I see some flames going up, then I know everybody I hear me, whether you're up on Facebook or YouTube. That more on the start of the show with tonight. Some flames in the comment section. All right. And once I see the flames that go up, then I know say una hear me loud and clear. All right. So do I see the first flame yet? If me not see no flame, that mean no nah hear me. All right, then see the flames, them a go up then. Nice. Wonderful. That means that everyone is hearing me and the program should be good tonight. And nobody now say, boy, Unstoppable, your sound low. All right. Now, I have a guest tonight. Tonight is actually a very serious show. It's a very serious show. It's a heart-warming program. It's a sad program tonight. And this mother is here to share her situation that is actually ongoing. It's not something that's in the past. It's something that is presently ongoing, and she wants to get this out there and get it heard, right? Now, she is seriously bothered by the situation that she's going through, and she feels like her voice needs to be heard. All right? So I'm going to let the guest share her situation tonight, but of course, you know, I have to pay the credits to the people who power the program first of all, and then start the show. So while I'm doing that, make sure you say una hit the like button and the share button and share it out to as much platforms as possible. YouTube, share it over to Facebook, share it to every group you can, and Facebook the same. Share it to the groups as much as possible, and share it to your profile, and share it to at least one WhatsApp contact, and invite them over to take a listen to tonight's program. All right. Now, me keep on telling you about Slam IPTV services, right? The reason why I can talk about Slam IPTV so much is because it is a service that I am personally using. And when I tell you, I not have no issues, me not have no issues at all. I am getting television stations from all around the world. And the good thing about Slam IPTV is you can even personalize it and tell them to listen, Slam, I want these channels, that channels from this country, channels from that country, and Slam IPTV will give you those channels. We are talking about news channels, movie channels, premium channels, all HD channels we're talking about right here. Alright, I'm here talking about if you're there foreign and you want to watch some Jamaican channels or any channels on the Caribbean, Slam IPTV is the service that can provide it. So now you can reach out to them at 647-858-4337 and you can WhatsApp them to or call them straight. You can reach them on Instagram and Facebook at slam_IPTV. Alright, that right there is how you can contact Slam right there. Alright, and the next sponsor for tonight, family, now I'm sure someone will hear a few of these phrases at some point. It's all in your head. We can make the pain go away. Here, just take this pill. Or just watch it for a little while, man. Maybe we stop. But guess what? If you don't want guesswork, if buts are maybes, then McLaren's Age Reversing Wellness Center should be your next stop. State-of-the-art equipment to make it easier for you to get the answers you seek. Them assess the problem and provide results the same day. Family, you need to schedule your appointment if you want to get the answers. 914-278-9394. Or you can visit the website mclarenswellness.com. Check it out today. All right, there you have it, family. So we're going to get into the program tonight. And like I said, if you have not hit that like button as yet, please hit the like button right now. YouTube crew, let's get the likes up. And Facebook crew, let me see some shares going out over there on Facebook. Shanali, good night. All right, so I'm going to introduce the guest to the program right now. But before I do that, let me just remind you about the rules of the platform. We are never allowed to be disrespectful. You're never allowed to call my guest outside her name, like fool, dunce, idiot, jackass, yamed, or anything of that sort, or else you will be blocked. However, you are welcome to share your opinion and mix and mingle in the comment section, but just make sure that whatever you type, you keep it respectful, or else you'll be blocked by either myself or one of my moderators on the program. All right. With that said and out of the way, let's get the guest on so we can get the show started. Carla, good night again. Thank you for waiting.
Yeah, thank you for having me on your program. I must say I've been watching your program for a long time. And I think it's some sort of therapy where people can come and express themselves and, you know, freely discuss whatever they're going through. So I must say I'm happy to be here tonight.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, we had a brief discussion as you explained to me what's going on with your situation. And I know it's an upsetting one. And we're here to listen to you tonight and give you the platform. So it's all yours right now. I won't interrupt you at all until we reach the 30-minute mark where I play the credit to the sponsors again, and then I'll come right back to you. All right? Go right ahead.
Yeah, and my story is also to put it out there so people there what they can see what other people is going through, and if this happened to them, they can come out and discuss it as well, because you know, sometimes for me, I was wary about putting the story out there, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Go right ahead.
Hello?
Start from the very beginning. We're listening.
Yeah, I had a son when I was pregnant with him. His name is Daniel. When I was pregnant with him, I was in my early 30s. So I had a daughter. I live in the UK. I live in England. I live in the UK. I live in England. I live in a place, it's a countryside. They call it Bristol. It's a very small city, you know. I had a daughter. She's my oldest child, and Daniel would be my second child. So I was pregnant with him. You know, I was in my early 30s. I don't drink and I don't smoke, you know, so normal pregnancy. You know, obviously at that time of my life, I was listening to everything, obviously, what that they said us should do when you're going to clinic, the vitamins, your clinical appointments, everyone you should see, you know, just typically things that they would expect you to do and tell you to do. You're doing it because this is what they convince us to keep us safe. and we're putting our lives in these people's hands. Um, Going to the appointments and everything was fine. Up until, they said, when you go to that, I think it's 5 week scan, 5 months, they said to you, you're gonna have what kind of baby you're gonna have. So at that time they said, I'm gonna have a little boy. So for me, I was excited, because obviously I wanted a son because I've got a daughter. So I was excited. I left the clinic the day. I start shopping, still living my normal life, go to work, doing what, normal stuff. Um, I I think I was I think I was fully 9 months, but they give me 2 weeks more before he's due, because sometimes they do the scan and they would say, oh, I think the child is gonna come 2 weeks over, 2 weeks under. I think I was fully 9 months when I went in. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, I was home. I started to feel in contractions, starting to go in labor. I was home with my friend, my sister. She was at work, and her son was with me. So I called her, and she come to the house. So I was home. I called the ambulance. Upon arriving, they said they're gonna take me into hospital. But when you live in UK, they give you like a yellow book. You take that book to every doctor's appointment, every follow-up, everything goes in that book. And when you're going to go into labor, you give them the book, and after you go into labor and you have the child, they take that book so you don't see it back. I've got my yellow book. I had my yellow book. They asked for it, so my friend get the book. I went to the hospital. I was in the house when the ambulance come. I was in full labor. I was, contractions. It was full blown contractions. And it was a male and a female come to the house. So upon coming to the house, obviously I'm in labor. They are saying that they're gonna take me to the hospital, but usually it's not. They don't usually take you there. You will have to find your way there because it's not an emergency. So I said, okay. They said they're gonna call in to find out if there's any delivery suite that is ready so they can take me in. They called up and they said, oh yeah, there's a suite that's ready. You can bring her in. During all that time while we're in the house, none of these the people that work in the ambulance, none of them did examine me. None of them did touch me. They were just there. I went in the ambulance with my friend, and we went to the hospital. Upon going to the hospital, I'm still in labor, so I can't walk properly. So there was a Caucasian male and a female that was there. The male was more so he was more so hostile, and he was quite rough. And he was saying, "Oh, you're gonna have to get up and walk to the delivery suite," And I was in labor, so I'm like, let me just wait until the contraction go away a little bit. Then I can slowly make my way in. He said, we're not gonna bring you in there. You're gonna have to make your way in there. You need to get up now. Obviously I'm still in labor, so I'm like, I'm gonna try to make my way there, but it's gonna take a longer time. So I slowly started walking. So I was holding on to my friend, at some time you have to stop. When I reached in the delivery suite, I slowly made my way there, hand over the yellow book and the notes to the midwife. She gave me a bed. I was lying on the bed. I was still in full blowing labor. I had contractions and everything. So upon being there, she was there. She was on her she was doing paperwork and in and out of the room. Um, After being in and out of the room and doing her paperwork, I remember she came in the room and she said she's gonna check to see what's going on with the baby. But she was in and out of the room going over the yellow book, you know what I mean? So she said she's gonna check to see what's going on with the baby. So you know they've got those monitors that they put on your tummy. So she put the monitors over my tummy, and that's the last thing I remember. You know, I just remember just loads of people coming, like loads of faces, and that was it. Um, After that, I wake up. I wake up on the ward. My sister was there. My friend was there. Um, both of them was there. Waking up on the ward now. They said to me that your son is in a critical condition. We don't think he's gonna make it. Um, we are not sure if he's gonna make it through the night. Because it was a cord prolapse and he was starved of oxygen. Obviously, they're waking me up now telling me this, you know what I mean? I didn't understand it because for you know, with most of us, some of us, we are not familiar with that world. Myself, I've never been familiar with that world where, you know, there was a NICU and you had children that was born with complications, etc. I didn't know anything about these things. So, you know, you're not expecting this. You're expecting to go in, have your child, come home, you know, start doing what you do to take care of your child. So for me now, at that time, I wasn't fully around. I was still under the anesthetic. So I was thinking, wow, really? Um, they were saying that he's on cooling. He's in cooling because of the extensive damage to his brain. We're cooling him down, so he's not breathing on his own. So he's on oxygen. My sister was there. You know, I was shocked. So we were shocked. So after that that night, there was a lady that she came to the ward and she was saying to me that they've got this hair that they're trying out in the hospital. So it's a hair that they can pump into him and to see if it would help him to start breathing again. And she was saying that they could try to pump the hair in him because it's an experiment that they're doing in the hospital, and they're trying it out on like animals, and you know they're trying the air out on animals, but now it's in the hospital. So you know, if I sign the consent form, they could try to see if it would help him to start breathing on his own, because they would remove the oxygen. um I didn't like the sound of it, and my sister said no, it's better if he just stays the way he is. And I said I'm not gonna sign, because she said I have to sign the form before 24 hours, or else it's not gonna work. I said, no, I'm gonna leave him the way he is. You know, if he's gonna go, let him go the way he is. Um, the next day, they take me to see him because I had a cesarean section. When I went to see him, I I take some pictures of him. He was in cooling. He had a lot of stuff on his head. He had a breathing tube just down his mouth. You know, there was a lot of stuff that was going on with him. Um, I went to see him. He wasn't feeding or anything. He was just on oxygen. They said, you're gonna slowly start winning the oxygen down and see if he starts breathing on his own. So they slowly start winning the oxygen down off him, you know. and then he slowly start breathing on his own. But to win down the oxygen, you have to do it gradually. So you go slowly, and then when you go slowly, once you go slowly and you start breathing, then they will just turn it off. But it's a process. It takes I think it was within 3 days he started breathing on his own. So they take him off the oxygen. Um, I I went home the third day after having him. I went home. They said he's gonna be here for quite a while. So you're gonna have to come and see him. Obviously, I was there every day. I was there from in the morning until maybe 1 o'clock at night every day. He came off the oxygen and he was in the NICU. So every day I go there, they are doing tests on him to see they're seeing how bad is the damage to his brain. So in the hospital every morning they do like ward round where the doctors would come and speak to you to let you know what's going on. So the doctors, they usually comes with a nurse and they would come and speak to you at ward round. She came to me one morning and she said to me, we're gonna have to have a meeting with you in one of the rooms. So we're gonna get the room ready and we're gonna talk to you about what's going on with your son, because at that time I didn't give him a name because obviously all this happened. So this is I was still trying to get my head around what's going on. So she said, you know, the damage to his brain is, I think it's severe. He's got unsafe swallow so far from what we can see, and his organs are very good. And we are going to take him down to the children's hospital where we're going to do an MMR scan on him, an MRI scan, so we can see on the scan and send it out to see how severe the damage is. That's fine. I've been going there. He was there for like 4 months. So I've been going there every day, doing the same. One day when I go there as well, every morning they would update you on what's going on. At that point now, they started feeding him, but because there wasn't sure how good his swallow is, those NG tube that they put through your nose. So they put the NG tube through his nose and it goes down in his tummy, and that's how they started feeding him with. You got some milk. It's like protein that they make for people with complications to feed them, and it's got everything in it, so it helps them to grow. So that's what they were giving him. It's Nutrini Energy Multifiber. The milk is called. So they were feeding him with the milk. I'm still going there. So obviously they're having meetings with me to let me update me on the situation. So they said is got severe. They did the MMR scan, the MRI scan. They had a meeting with me again at the hospital, and they said he's got severe damage to the brain, so he's not gonna be able to walk. The part of his brain where obviously a brain control your whole body, so
Mhm.
the limbs is cut off. Um, he's not gonna be able to do nothing for himself because on the scan they can see where the damage is extent. The extent of the damage is really bad, you know. But they were keep saying that his organs are very good. He's got strong organs. Yeah, so I was like, okay. So they said we are not gonna be able to just take him home with no training. We're gonna have to train you somewhat on what to do before taking him home. I said, okay. So I went in. They started train. They gave me a room, so like It's a room where, you know, I'm staying in the hospital now with him, and there's nurses on the ward, so they would come and check and assist you if obviously I'm making any mistake. Because this is where I'm gonna get to take him home. Um, I went in for about, I think it's 5 nights. I was there. They were training me on what to do, how to feed him, and they said once you leave here and you go home, there is gonna be a midwife coming to the house the following morning just to check in to see how are you guys. So I went home with him. When I went home, he was he was because he's got reflux from the damage. Hello,
I can hear you,
I
but
can hear
your
you.
audio keeps going in and out. So keep your mouth a bit closer to the microphone, okay?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly. That's how I want you to
Yes,
speak. All right.
I'm hearing an echo. Okay. Yeah. So I take him home, and I started looking after him. There was the first night I had him because he has the reflux because of the way he's feeding. So he's home. So there was a midwife come to the house the following morning, and you know, she came to check in. He's home now. He's still having problems, complications with feeding. So they said because he's got really bad reflux, they're gonna have to put a plan in place to see what's next. He, he he's got loads of appointments obviously after coming out. He has a pediatrician, a dietitian, he's got speech and language, and he's got physiotherapy, and he's got a play group. So I usually take him there one time a week, 2 days, 2 days a week. At that time he was a few months, I think it was maybe 6 months. So he still have the complication with feeding. So I used to have to take him to A&E quite a lot to fit for them to fit back the tube in. And upon going there, they said we can train you to make it easier so you don't hear. I said okay. So obviously they've been somewhat trained to care for him.
Your audio
Um,
is not so good. Try to speak up a little bit better. Your audio is at 1 minute. At one moment you're speaking nice and clear, and then the next minute you go low.
are you hearing me now?
Just like that is how I want it to be.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So yeah. Um, so he had appointments like speech and language, a dietitian, physiotherapy. He has loads of appointments. So I would have to take there like 2 days a week, and he still has the trouble feeding. So he still have the trouble feeding. So I used to take him to A&E quite a lot because he had NG tube um through his nose. So having the NG tube sometimes with him having the reflux, he would tend to vomit and it would push through out of his nose. So I used to have to take him into bed for them to put back the tube in. And that's the way he was feeding. So, you know, you know, I have to take him in. It's quite important. Um, taking him to his appointment, taking him to the hospital. So they said it would be easier if we train you to put the tube in. So you don't have to come here, you know what I mean? If it come out. Um, taking him there, I learned to put the tube in. They said you're gonna have to put a feeding tube in his tummy. So I was like, okay. Um, uh, I was like, okay. They said you're gonna have to put a feeding tube in his tummy because it's easier and it would be better for him. So I said, okay. So I took him to the clinic, to the hospital to do the operation. But upon putting in the tube now in the tummy, After the operation, finished, obviously he's slowly waking up. He's in a lot of pain, and they're testing it out to see if it's working. Upon doing that, they said the tube is not working; it's blocked. So I'm thinking, is this a joke? They said no, it's blocked. We're gonna have to operate on him again the following day because it's something to do with perhaps the manufacturer provided us with it too. So I'm like, how can you put the tube in with not testing or making sure it's working when it's an operation? You know what I mean? You need to put the tube in. They said they weren't aware. So what's gonna happen now? They're gonna have to remove it by going back to surgery. But the surgery cannot be done on the same day. They're gonna have to do it the following day. So he went back in surgery and they remove it and replace it with one that's working. Um, he was home. He took him home after that. They trained me there to start using this new one because every time I ease in any, you have to get trained to start using new equipment. They trained me to start using the tube, and I took him home. He's still having reflux, so he's still being sick like most of the time after most of the days. Um, he they said the surgeon said is what she thinks she could do, obviously, to try to make it easier is to give him a fundiplication where they tie his stomach. I said, okay, obviously we're trying to make things easier for him and for us as a family. I went into the hospital and I said, that's fine. Um, they went ahead, they did the operation to tie his stomach. So by tying his stomach now, it cannot be sick. So everything that goes down, obviously, it stays down there. Um, they did the operation for the first when he just wake up from the operation, obviously he's in pain, so the painkillers, and he was there. He was there for I think it was 4 days, and then when they trained me how to use how to feed it, start eating again. That I can bring him home. If there's any issue, just come back in any. And that's what I took him home. He was fine for 2 weeks. He was fine. Then he started being sick again. They were saying they're gonna see what else they can do. They're thinking about the ways that they can go about trying because at this time he was I think he was about 4 or 3, but he was growing, but he was very small. He wasn't normal size for his age, you know. So it was very small because he wouldn't keep down his feed. So they they said they've got an operation that they can start feeding further down in the stomach where the feed would it doesn't go in his stomach, avoiding in the tummy. It's dead. So they said they're gonna give it a go and see, the outcome because this is what they think would help. I was like, that's fine, whatever we can do to make things easier for him and us, we appreciate. We went in for the operation, we put it in. It's he started after they put it in, it start working. After waking up from the surgery, he slowly start using it. It was working well. He started, putting on weight. He started looking like, a normal size child, somewhat normal size child, and everything. So, upon doing that now, he started growing. I was living in a rented house, so start I the landlord gave me notice. So I went to the council and asked them to rehouse, if they could provide some housing, because obviously I was caring for Daniel at the time. And they said there is gonna be a property to live in, extended property to care for him. So the landlord gave me notice, and obviously, upon giving me the notice, if you can't find anywhere, they can take you to court. They can go to courts and take you to court, whether you're there or not, and they can get bailiff to put you out, remove your things, and then you'd have to go into shelter. I take the letter to the council. They said I'm gonna have to start, because there's a process where you have to bid. So you have to you signed up to the council. You start bidding on house and properties, whatever. Like you've got bonds, yeah. Like, so they would put you in bond one. It depends on your circumstances. So if you're in a difficult situation, they would put you in the first band, which is band one. If the circumstances isn't as bad, they would put you in 2 or 3. You've got up to 5. I was in band 3. So I was bidding and placed. I was bidding and placed. So I was waiting for a place for a year. I think one was 1 month over a year. And then they gave me it's like a flat. So I moved in the flats. Before I moved in the flats, the OT and the physiotherapy was saying that that house is not going to be sustainable for him long term, because obviously he's going to need an extended place to care for him, with like a washroom and his oyster him. Um, up and they said they haven't got nowhere else, so I'm gonna have to take the place and continue living in the place, and then see in the future what happened. So I said okay, because they said if you refuse this place, we haven't got nowhere else, and you're gonna go back down in the bidding, and we haven't got nowhere else to give you. So best if you take this place for now, and we will see what would happen in the future. Um, I take the place and I move in the place. Obviously, Daniel was still young. He was the baby. Um, he started he was about 5. So there's special school for children like him. So um, he's meant to start going to a school now, and there was one close to where the house they gave me the property, the house to live in. So the school, they come to the house, they meet me, and they meet Daniel. He said this is where he's gonna have to start going to school. I come and have a look at the school, and these are the staff members, and look around the class that he's gonna be in. He's turning 5. Um, I go to school. I start looking around the school. Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. I go to the school. I start looking around the school, and by looking around the school,
Are you using a earpiece or a headphone or something?
no, I'm on speaker.
You have me on speaker?
Yes.
All right, try to take it off of speaker and let's see if that makes the audio any better. Because
Okay.
the viewer's complaining that the audio is horrible.
Can you hear me now?
Speak again.
Can you hear me now?
All right, let's try it like that. Go ahead.
Yes. So after going to the school to look around the school, they said he's gonna start going there. Um, he started being sick again. So after started being sick again, the school is starting to say that they can't accommodate him in school because he's been sick. He's gonna have to stay home. Um, I was like, okay, so he's home with me. He's home every day with me. So I contacted the pediatrician and the dietitian, and I was explaining to her that obviously he's home all the time with me, and he's meant to be in school, because once he's in school, that's the time when I'm gonna be able to do other stuff. I can't do anything because he's always home, and everywhere I go, I have to take him. She said to me that he's he's supposed to be in school. The school is a place that children with complex needs goes. That's what the school is for. She's gonna contact them and find out why is he not in school. She did just that. After doing that, then he started to go to school, every morning. Once he's well. When he's unwell, obviously he can't go to school because sometimes he has infections on his chest. So
But you said the school told you, contacted you, and told you you have to come get the child because of what?
no, they said because he tends sometimes to be sick, vomits. So they keep sending him home. So at that time, he's home with me all the time. So like everywhere I go, I used to take him with me everywhere. So like if I'm going shopping, everywhere he's there. So I, because I had a good relationship with the dietitian, I called her and I was explaining to her that he's not in school. And she said to me that he's meant to be in school because the school is a special needs school that deals with children with complex needs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's there for.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to contact them to find out why he's not in school. Um, she contacted them, so we started going back to school. So upon going back to school, you know, only time he's not in school is unless he's unwell, if he's got like an infection in his chest or something, or unless he's in hospital. So he started going back to school, but at that time, because they did the operation on him for his to make sure he start taking his feed, he start growing. So he's in school, he start growing. At that time he was I think maybe 6, 7, still growing. I'm still caring for him, still doing everything on my own, picking him up from school, dropping him off, caring for him. I started because obviously is meant to have respite, and he's meant to have like some time of care in the home, or he's meant to have some respite where you can drop him off maybe every other weekend or something. So I started to ask or at the school for some supports in the home, and what's in place to help us as a family, because obviously I've never deal with anything like this, or I never know anyone with any children with such complex needs. So I wasn't aware of what support is out there.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you have to go to the school. So I start asking the school now, like, what support is there for him? Because, when he's home with me. What can you put in place? They said they're gonna contact social services. So you've got disabled social services where they would provide a disabled social worker, and they would put things in place to help you to provide things to care for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he was about 7. So I had a social worker come to my house, and at that time his room was upstairs. I've been lifting him for years. So obviously my back, I'm start having like pain and problems with my back, because I have to lift him from the bath. I only could take him upstairs like two times for the day. So I had to get him dressed in the front room on the floor. So, because I couldn't be able to keep lifting him up. So I used to keep most of his stuff downstairs and only take him upstairs to put him to bed, or you know what I mean. So I used to store he's got equipment, so I used to have to keep them outside. So I start asking the school what support is there. They said I should have a disabled social worker to come and talk to me to see what they can do. I had a social worker. After having her, I met with her one time. She said she's gonna go to a panel to see what care they can put in place for him. What they can put in place, meaning support like the housing, the respite, you know. So she said she did come to the house. We talked. She said she's gonna have to go to a panel because that's what it's like. They set up a panel and they go there and a review to see if you meet the criteria to get the support. She called me after a meeting, or I think it was like 2 weeks after, to say that I didn't meet the criteria. I was like, okay, it's fine. So I'm still doing everything on my own. I start asking back as well again for help from the school to see if they can provide me with a social worker again, because this one left after saying that I didn't meet the criteria. That was it. I haven't heard anything from her. They provided me with a next social worker after, I think it was 6 months after. The social worker come again. She booked an appointment to come to meet me. She come to the house. She meet me. We had a conversation. She had conversation obviously with school, and she said she's gonna go away and go to the panel and try to find out, see what support they can provide us with as a family. She left, and she went to the panel. As going to the panel, she came back and she said, again, we don't meet the criteria. I'm like, okay, still caring for him, still looking after him, still taking him to his appointments, because he's got appointments at the hospital. He's got appointment with his pediatrician, and stuff. Still doing all that. At this time now, he's like 8. So everywhere I go, I take him. So if I'm going on holiday, I take him. Everywhere I go, I take him with me. So he was about 8 at this time now. So I asked again for support because he's meant to have some support in place, and I'm meant to move from this flat where I'm living. So go back there. Obviously, I can't contact social services myself. I have to go to the school, and they would contact them and send them to me, because there's different teams of social services. So there's disabled social services, and there's not like social services which just deal with normal people and problems, with whatever problems that's in your family.
Faith
They
asked
send a
a
social.
question in the comments, and she's asking, did you, because they keep saying that you're not approved or qualified. Faith is asking, did you ever ask what was the criterias for you to at least be qualified or approved?
Yes, I asked obviously about the training, because to care for him, because his needs was so high. I had to get somewhat training, from the nurses in the hospital to care for him, and every time he did like an operation or anything, I have to go in and get a bit of training and to take him home. So that's the only training I ever had to care for him. Over the years I was doing it. So I had a social worker again. This one was the third social worker. The school contacted them again. He was 8, going on 9. She come to the house. She said she's gonna go to the panel to see what funding they can provide for him, and she's gonna go to see what funding is there for him to provide some support that they can provide in the home. But because the home isn't suitable for his needs, they cannot send anyone in, because the whatever care is gonna come there, they're not allowed to be lifting him, you know, because if they lift him and anything is wrong, the company can get into trouble. So she said she's gonna go back and find out. She went back and she find out, and they said the only thing they can provide is someone to come in like 2 days a week to sit down with him while I'm there in the house. And for me, I didn't understand, so I was like, okay, you know. So they said they're gonna see what they can come up with. So they came up with this lady. She used to come twice a week, and she used to come there, and I used to be there. We just used to sit down together. But obviously, she didn't have the qualifications or any training, so I would still be, you know, caring for him. Um, that she used to come. So the lady that used to come, she was coming for, I think it was 4 weeks, and then after the 4 weeks, she left. So after she left, uh, everything went back to normal. he, Everything went back to normal. Now at this point, she left, everything went back to normal. I didn't have no social worker no more, because when the lady was coming there, they stopped set. I didn't have a social worker, they gave me a support worker. So the support worker would just check in to see if everything is going okay. But the lady she was there for 4 weeks, and then she left. She found a job somewhere else, because it was just 2 days a week, and she used to just come there to just, you know, to shadow me, to sit down and just to be there. So because she didn't have a level of training to care for him.
So what was the
So
point of sending?
after
What was the point of sending someone that didn't have training to care for him? That doesn't sound like it makes sense.
um that's what I'm telling you, is a lot of things that don't make sense. But um when with living in these countries like England, the UK, there's because I'm here from Jamaica, my children was born here. Even though they were born here, upon me sending any of my children, because I've got 2 other children. I don't only have Daniel, but Daniel is the only child I have with complications. I have to provide them with their passports, or else they don't take them in school. So because they look at us like we don't have to do anything for you. You have to be lucky if we even see to you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So the lady left. Obviously, me as his mother, I've never experienced anyone with children with any complications such as this. So for me, all I wanted to do was just look after my son. I send you all these pictures. I enjoyed giving him a wash, dressing him up. You know, I still treat him like I would treat my other 2 children, because I had, for me, he was my everything, because of seeing his struggle and what he is from the day he was born, what he's been through. I tell myself I cannot give up on him. If I give up on him, there's no one that's gonna be there for him. So I take pride in caring for him. I take pride in sending him to school, always immaculate. You know, that's that's what I usually do every day. So I he was 9 at this time. He's 9. So you know, he's starting to get bigger. He's starting to grow. He's starting to get taller. Because I'm not very tall. I'm 5 foot, 5'2". So, you know, I used to I'm still lifting him. So at this time, my back is it's really in the morning, and my back is like it's sometimes it's on fire, and sometimes my spine, like, you know, I'm having really bad problems with my spine. Um, I'm still living in the house, still lifting him, still doing everything. You know, asking still for help. Nothing, no help, nothing. You know, nothing. Um, I went back to the school again because obviously I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I am just trying to get some help because I think there is help out there, but I'm just trying to go to the school and see what the school can do. Because his school was a really good school and he loves going to school. You know, I send you his pictures.
Mm-hmm.
He's one thing I could say about him. He's always smiling. If you look at all his pictures, he's always smiling. No matter what he's going through, that little boy is always happy. He's always happy. And that's the memory I will always have in my head of him. Um, I go to the school and I said to the school, obviously, I'm struggling. Daniel is 9 and I cannot, this is too much. It's ridiculous. I need to move. I need a respite. I need to start doing things with my younger son and my older daughter. I don't get to do anything. All my life is based on is just caring for him. Even when he's at school, I still have to be picking up his medication from the chemist. I still have to be contacting the feeding company for to deliver his feed. So, you know, his equipment. So even when he's at school from 8:45 till 3 o'clock, I'm still, you know, still dealing with doing these things. So on the weekend, I'm home with him. I'm home with my 2 other children, and I'm still trying to get on with life. So I need some time, obviously, where he goes to respite maybe for a weekend, and he comes back. And I had a meeting with the school, and I was explaining to them. They said they're gonna provide me with a social worker again, because I'm meant to have a social worker where I can go to her, and she would. There's organization there, but she is the one that's meant to put things in place, like with the organization and all these things. But obviously, I don't know anything about these things, you know. So you know, after talking to the school, because when they said calling us names is being racist and racial, that cause by calling you names, that's um is that's what the problem is, by calling us whatever names they use. That's not the main problem. The main problem is the institutional racism, the racism in the school. It's in the workplace, it's in the hospital. That's where it gets dangerous. It's in the prison, it's in all these places. That's where it gets dangerous, because once it's these people are in any position that works at these places, they can do whatever they feel they can do, whatever they like with you. And that's where things, you know, get really bad in this country, because the racism is, it's very, 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 very bad, you know. um they said they're gonna send me a social worker. They're gonna give her my number and she's gonna contact me. So I said okay. And she's gonna come and see me, because usually they come and see you and they see what support they can provide you with. Um, the following week, I think it was, I went to school on the Monday, and the social worker came on the Wednesday. She come to my house. We had a meeting. She came with a support worker. Um, Both of them come to the house. She asks to see the house, his room, where's the equipment. I take her around the house. I was showing her his room. She was somewhat shocked. She says she's shocked. She we shouldn't be living I shouldn't be living there with him because obviously every like when he goes to school, they're not lifting him, and it's dangerous to lift him. And she's going to try to do what she can do to put things in place for us as a family, because he's meant to have some respite, and there's organization there to contact to provide funding to put things in place. The support worker that was there as well, she started crying. She started crying, and she was like, oh, this is really bad. um so she left. Both of them left. She said, I'm going to keep in contact with you, and I'm going to put things in place and go to my manager and see what we can do. So for me, I was thinking I'm going to get some help now, you know so I'm thinking, yes, this is the help that's coming. And she came in, she talked to me. We talked, everything was fine. A week after she called me, after seeing her, she said she's gonna try to send him to a respite center. Obviously, I can't call the names on the program. So she said there's a respite center that she can send him, and I should go there and have a look at the respite center. He's gonna go there 1 day a week. So it's gonna be like, if he goes there, I pick him up from school and I would drop him there, like he would reach there for 4 o'clock, and I would go there in the morning and pick him up and take him to school. So she contacted me and she told me about the respite center. It wasn't far away from where I was living. So at first, obviously I went there, I had a look around the place, I meet the staff, and I can't just take him there and leave him. I had to take him there, slowly build up, the relationship obviously with them and him, and then started leaving there for a night. Um he started going to the respite center. He just started going there like 1 time a week. She said she's gonna try to see what she can do regarding the housing, because the housing was issue why think they can't put a care in the home. So I was like, okay. They started sending him to as well this lady. She's a nurse, but what she do, she's got a spare room, so she tends to help out families and provide some care for children with special needs. So I met her. She was a lovely lady. She was a nurse, so she was fully trained. She started keeping him, but it was an hour away from where I was living. So she would keep him like sometimes 1 night a week and stuff like that. So upon taking him there, he went there 3 times. Um, after taking him there, um, I didn't hear from her anymore. So I said to the social worker, I haven't heard anything from the lady about if she's still gonna, see to Daniel. So she said she's gonna contact her and find out. She said the lady said she's not gonna be able to care for him anymore. She's sorry, but she's got stuff going on in her life, and yeah, she can't do it at this time. So he's at the respite center still having the 1 night a week, while she said she and the OT, because OT's she's there too, because you've got several people. You've got the OT, you've got the physio, you've got speech and language, you got the dietitian, so you've got and the pediatrician. So he's got a lot of people, you know what I mean, involved in his life. So she said the social worker is meant to um have a conversation with these people and try to put things in place to make things easier for us as a family. She called me and she said she's gonna come and see me one day. So I said, okay, you know. She said she's coming with her manager. I said that's fine. She said, I will come and see you at 1 o'clock. I said that's fine. She said I'll come and see you before you have to go and do your school run. So she come with her manager, and you know, I was there, and she said to me, I'm gonna have to put the kids on high risk. So I didn't. I'm thinking, what do you mean? And she said, you know, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to put your kids on high risk, all of them. And
Why?
and that's what I'm gonna explain everything that I've been through, dealing with everything, and you will see what I'm saying. So she said I'm gonna have to put all the kids at high risk. And I've got the paperwork here. I don't know if you understand what iris means, but I'm gonna have to put them on iris, all of the children, because I think because you went through trauma. I think because you have got emotional problems with your son, and sometimes when I'm talking about it, it you know, it breaks me down at times talking about like what happened, you know. So she said, I'm gonna have to put the kids at high risk. We're gonna have to go to a meeting, and we will take it from there. So she said, this is the paperwork. I don't know if you understand what I'm telling you, but read through the paperwork, and see if you've got any family members or anyone who can help you with our manager. So at that time, obviously, I start saying to her, but there's no way you're gonna take away any of my children. So, you know, I don't know what you're gonna put them on. You can put them on a swing, you can put them on one of those slide in the park, but you ain't taking away any of my children. I bet you that.
So
So
she was supposed to be there to help you, but instead, in turn, she wants to take away your kids.
all of them. The one, my son Daniel, who is sick. My oldest daughter at the time was she was turning 16, and my younger son, he was about 3. So I obviously I started talking to family members and friends about it, and they were saying, I was thinking I'm not gonna go to the panel because, you know, it was Corona at that time. So, you know, everything shut down. So everything was Corona was just, they were just coming out of it. So everything was online. So I was thinking I'm not gonna go to the panel, you know, I don't care. I was like, I don't even understand where she's coming from, you know, but it doesn't make no sense. So one of my cousin was saying to me that you go to the panel, you don't know what's been said, you don't know anything, go and see what they're saying. So she sent me through an email, because at that time, after she left my house, I told her not to contact me anymore. Start sending me everything in writing. So email or text me. She's My son was in the hospital, so while he was there, she's starting to call the hospital. I call them like every 3 hours, you know. So they were like, social worker keeps ringing here. I didn't say anything. I went to the panel now. So going to the panel, it was like, I think it was 14 people that was there.
All right,
It
wait a
was on
minute. Wait a minute
Zoom.
before you get there. Let me ask you this. All right. So you said the reason why she says she's putting the kids at high risk is because you went through trauma. What trauma did you go through? What trauma was she referring to?
The trauma is what I went through with birth, having my son through childbirth. And she's saying that obviously I think she thinks I need to see someone to talk about what happened during Daniel's birth. That's what she was referring to.
Right, but this was what, 9 years later?
Yes.
And 9 years later, was there any incidents where anything happened to your kids or anything of the sort? Anything was reported of the kids being in danger or harmed in any way?
Nothing. No, 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 no,
When she
nothing.
came to the house to do
No.
the inspection, what is it? What do you know of anything that she found that seemed suspicious or anything like that? Did she say anything to you at that point?
No, the only reason why she came to the house is because she's a disabled social worker. So the school, that's the reason why she's at my house. She wasn't even working with my other two children.
Right. So
You understand?
that's
She
what I'm trying to understand. Why would she
exactly
just assume that the kids are at risk? I don't get it. But
that.
anyhow, continue.
That's what I'm
Go on.
saying to. That's what I'm saying to you. When they're dealing with us, it's different from dealing with their own. When you're dealing with social work services, the idea that they provide in your head is that these people are here to help. That's what I was told. But upon dealing with them for 2 years,
Mhm.
it's the worst experience I ever had. And they're not here for that. They're all they hear as when they come around you and your children as so-called black people is just to destroy you and take your children and put them into care, and then while they're there they get molested. That's the way the system is built. It sounds like it's unreal, but that's what's going on. They come in your life and they disrupt your life.
Mm.
Once they come and see the person they're there to meet, that's where everything starts. When she comes to my house, remember, she was there only for one reason, to provide support. She didn't come to my house under anything where anyone called. Or remember, if there's any concern, these children they're in school. So I'm talking about all of them. So the school would contact them if there's any concern. They didn't contact them under that. They contacted them for help only for Daniel. And she only came to my house regarding to see the property I was living in. Remember, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't go partying. I gave up. I don't even go in anywhere. All of my life about was caring for my son, my children, but mostly him because he mostly take up all my
He
time.
needed it,
So
right?
everywhere I
Mhm.
go, I bring him.
Mhm.
We if I'm going on holiday in Spain and we usually go to Europe or Jamaica, anywhere he's there. You understand? So that's the only reason why she was there.
Mhm.
She after going to the panel with these 14 people because they're in these positions to do whatever they like to you. This is why I said racism is not just calling you name, it's in the institution. It's them having the power to disrupt your life, to do things to you that they feel like they can do because I've got the power. I can do. You understand? The workplace. I can fire you. I can make your life a living hell. That's how it is. You're in the hospital. Remember, it started from I was in labor in my house. Remember, normally when you're in your call ambulance and you're not well, they're meant to check you over from the moment they come to you. There were two people there. None of them didn't see to me while I was in labor. None of them. The man literally tried to drag me out of the ambulance and bring me into the delivery suite because he said he's not taking me. They're not taking me. I have to walk, and I was in full blown labor. So that's what I'm saying. It's that's where it started. You understand? If at that time the ambulance come to your house, you're in labor, they're supposed to look over you, they're supposed to check to see what's going on with the baby, if the baby is moving, if the heart is beating, all these things. None of that didn't happen. So this is what I'm saying. This is what you go through. um Sometimes some of us have got it in our heads that we're leaving Jamaica for a better life, but sometimes it's the worst thing. I can say for myself because I've been living in this country for years, from I was a child, from I was a teenager, sorry. Upon going to the panel, there was 14 people at the panel because I wasn't gonna go. It's on Zoom. There was the police, There was my daughter's teacher from her school. There was my son's nursery, the younger one, and there was a lot of people from Daniel's school, like the pediatrician, was involved in his care. There was the organizations that's been turning us down for years. Upon going to the panel, she outlined that I need to see a psychiatrist. She would book appointments so I could see a psychiatrist to speak to them about how I'm feeling and and she started stating that she's worried about me lifting him. It's dangerous. She started stating in the panel that she went to my oldest daughter's school. My daughter actually tell her not to come back to her school. She don't want to talk to her. She don't know why she's there. All she's here to do is cause more problem. My younger son's school, they didn't have no issue. My Daniel school was there. They were saying that you know we need a house, we need help. She was at the panel with there was a chair there. The chair is usually like someone who's like a judge. So they're there to listen to the arguments and etc. She said um she would like me to follow me to the doctor because I've got problems with my back. um she's trying, if there was we were living in a proper accommodation, she would put things in place to make things easier for us. So she was at the panel. All these organizations, I can't, because obviously I can't call their names, but all of them turned us down. It was like 5. So they turned us down. And when the chair from the panel, which is the judge, asked them why we're living in this house, why isn't there anything in place for Daniel? None of them could tell why they were turning us down. He was 9 and I still was buying everything for him. I was still buying nappies. I was still buying the plastic aprons, gloves, everything I was still providing, while that was meant to provide by Lifetime. So there's organization there that's, what I mean? There's lots of organization, but they were refusing. When they asked them why haven't there why aren't you not in place? Why isn't the mother getting, like, the help that she needs? The gloves, the equipment to care for him, etc. They said they don't know. They're gonna have to speak to their manager to see why they keep turning us down. Upon leaving the panel, she said she's gonna put everything in place. She's gonna go to the council, try to see if because they were discussing a property that is a possibility. They're not sure if they're gonna give it to me. So I would have to start bidding again to wait for years to get a place. She would put things in place to provide care in the home, but they can't because of where I'm living. She would like me to speak to a psychiatrist, a therapy or something. And so I said to her, I'm not gonna see no therapy or any psychiatrist or anyone. What you're gonna do, the funding that you're gonna take to do that, you're gonna put it in place to provide care for my son. Um, Upon going to the panel, the chair, which is like she's a judge, she said the system failed to provide anything for him. The system failed us drastically, and she's asking all of these organizations to go away and to put things in place. After they left the panel, they were discussing a property that was, because obviously they were planning that if I start bidding again, I'm gonna have to move maybe like an hour away, or half an hour, and I didn't want to move my children from the school or anything. So I was like, if I could get a property close to where Daniel's school is and my daughter and my younger son, that would be good. They said there's a property there, but they're not sure if
it's gonna be available, and if I can get it, but they're gonna let me know. So there was this I was an officer contacted me from the council. He said we have got. He contacted me as well, and the OT contacted me, and she said we can, you can look at the property, but it's not ready. But it was a property that someone else was living in the property, and the property is extended for them. But if they don't want the property, you can have it if you view the property and it's suitable for your family, because it's a property with the hoist, and it's got a washroom, and the section downstairs would be for Daniel, his washroom and his room. And I said okay. They said it's not going to be ready for now. We will let you know when, because obviously their work's still going on there, when it's going to be ready. um During that time, she stated that once we move, she's going to put things in place. When we went to the panel, um the kids, after 2 weeks, the kids was off iris. There wasn't no there wasn't on no iris anymore, that was finished.
Mm.
So I wait for the property. I went to look at the house. It was a house, was a nice house, very nice house with a garden, and his room was downstairs, and he had his washroom, and there was the front room, and there was a driveway. So I said, I'm gonna take the house. That's fine. I'll take the house, because obviously I need to move into the house. Stop lifting him, and obviously things is gonna be easier, because this is what the story I was told at the panel, that everyone is gonna start working with us. Moving to the house. Upon moving into the house, I was at my house one day, and I dropped him at Bell. I dropped him at the respite place. Sorry, and after dropping him there, I think it was an hour after, they called me and they said to me that there's an accident, so they're gonna take him to A&E now. So I was like, what happened? And they said, his tube his tube was ripped from his stomach. So I said, what? And they said, yes, his tube was ripped from his stomach. We are on our way to the A&E, the children A&E, and if you meet us there. So I rushed to A&E. I met them there. The lady that was working with him at the time was there with him. His tube was ripped from his stomach. He was in a lot of pain. Um, he was in A&E. They gave us a bed upstairs, and he was there for 2 weeks. So upon being there now, I was moving at that time. It was summertime. It was school, just like, I think it was just closed, like within that week. Um, there was a bed upstairs. They gave us a bed upstairs, and they were meant to put back his tube in. They keep saying that it's not an emergency. It's not an emergency. Something else come up. Someone with more serious complication is in. It's not an emergency. So I was there. I was waiting for it to go back in. Um, Waiting for it to go back in. I was there for he was there for over a week now, nothing. And I was there one day now, and there was two doctors that they come in the room, and they were saying, they were explaining to me that they've got this procedure that they would like to try on him. So they would put something from, where your elbow is,
Mm.
at the front of your arm, and push it all the way past through his heart, and come back to his shoulder. So I was like, what is it gonna do? They say we can give that a try and see if that would work. I said to them, no, he's not here for that. He- All he's here to do is to put back the true in. Um, they said it's a good procedure. They would like to give it a try. They're just waiting for me to sign the form. and this would be the doctor who's gonna do it. The doctor, it was a man, but he couldn't speak English very well, so he was there with the other doctor. I said no. Um, Upon saying no, they he left, and he came back with a female, so it was three of them now. Um, they were still going on and on about this thing, and so I started to tape them on my phone. And I was saying, that's not why he's here. I'm not signing any consent form to do that. He's just here to get his tube replaced. Um, Within that time, I was moving in the house. So I think it was just after 2 weeks they did the operation. It was back in. I took him home. I moved in the house. His school is. I didn't send him back to the place that this happened, because obviously I was I was really, like, really really angry, and I was shocked at the same time. So I didn't send him back there. So I had him all summer. School is open. No respite is not in place, so he's here all the time now. Once he's finished school, he's home. You know, I'm still caring for him. After that, no, I started communicating with the social worker. Um, so obviously she's aware of what happened at Bellbrook. So she stated that we haven't got nowhere else to send him. So we are gonna, it was horrible, but we haven't got no respite place that we can provide at the moment. So you're gonna have to send him back there to get some respite. Um, I was telling her that I'm not happy to send him back there. I would wish for him to go somewhere else, because it I cannot understand why someone would even consider to hoisting him while he's on his feet. That's dangerous, you know. And being has this happen, it's negligence from this place that he's going. She said um she's gonna put a meeting in place for me and the place, the respite center, and the staff that's in question is gonna have to get more training. I still said I'm not sending them out there like that. This is dangerous, and I don't understand why it happened. I still can't understand, because it doesn't take long to hoist and to take him off his feet. So to do that on its by itself is you can show the negligence. Um, she keeps saying, she come back, she keeps saying there's nowhere else. What should advise? They're gonna get more training, and um to build up the trust. Take him there, but don't leave him. Take him there, but stay with him for a few hours and slowly build up the trust before I start taking him there to leave him for the overnight. So I would take him there, spend time with him. I don't leave him. I'll just be there sitting around with them and him. Then I take him home till I started leaving him there for a few hours and go back and pick him up, until he start back going there overnight. Um, I'm in the house now, so I'm not hearing from her or the social worker. I'm still not hearing from these organizations, still buying everything, still doing everything. Hello?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Yes, still doing everything. So um still doing everything. I called her one day and I was like, because everything I'm saying, it's on paper. So I've got loads of paperwork. I've got, because everything is on paperwork. It's documented. Every single thing I'm saying, it's documented. So I said to her, I remember you said you're going to provide a care in the home once we move, and I'm here in the house, and this is what you're going to start providing the respite. Um, they're going to start providing the gloves and the apron and stuff too, nappies, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
She said she's going to have a meeting online, and she gave me the date for the meeting, and we're going to discuss it more with our manager as well. um I went on the meeting online. Go on the meeting, she said there's not enough funding there to provide any care in the home. She cannot provide any care in the home. um there's no funding there, so she can't say what they can do because they haven't got the funding to do it. They can't do it. Our manager was there. I was, like, I don't understand. You said you're going to do these things. I move in the house to get the help. I'm still here. What's going on? She said they haven't got the funding. There's nothing they can do. The funding is just not there. She said, go and seek legal advice. We haven't got the funding. Said, okay. I left the meeting today. I had a solicitor that was dealing with the case from birth. So obviously it's a firm of solicitor. So I called her and I was telling her what was going on. And she said, she's gonna tell a solicitor from her firm to call me to discuss in details more about, because she can't advise me on that part of things. She's just dealing with the negligence. So she's gonna tell a solicitor to call me. Obviously I can't call these people names. So he called me. We were talking, we were talking, and I was explaining to him what was going on. I didn't have a carer. I was explaining. He said to me, you're meant to have someone at home. Um, under section, I think he said section 26, someone is supposed to be in the home, by law. So don't worry. I will give social care. I will write to them, send them an email, and find out what's going on, and I'll get back to you and let you know. So um, he did send them an email. They get back to him the same day. It was the following day he sent them an email the next day. So they get back to him, and he gave them 7 days, because all the paperwork that he sent them, he forwarded them to my email. So to show me what he's sending them. So he gave them 7 days to put things in place, and to put a care in the home, or else he's gonna take them to court. Uh, they said they find someone within 3 days. So they found this man. Um, they said she called me and she said, because at that time the social worker I had, she was on a holiday. So once she's gone, they're gonna provide you with someone else. So this one of a social worker called me and she said they're gonna send me someone. The person is gonna reach at my house for 4 o'clock. The only thing is they're not trained, and they're not trained, and I'm gonna have to train them. So I said, uh, what do you mean? I thought this would be like respite where I can leave him, and she said, no, you can't leave him quite yet, because the person isn't trained. You will come there to shadow you, and we will take it from there. I said, okay. The person came to my house. It was an elderly man. He was a really lovely man. He was from Africa. We started working together. I started training him and what to do. But obviously, he, because of Daniel intense care needs, these people, because they're not trained, they're meant to be trained by a nurse and signed off by a nurse, but he was from an agency. So they sent this man here from an agency. He didn't have any experience. So they said I should train him. I started training him. He was here for, I think it was maybe 3 months. Um then he said he had some accident back home with his brother. So he's gonna have to go back home for a time. So, he's not gonna be able to do the job to come here anymore. He's gonna obviously, go back home. He was a very good man. So at that time I was like, what am I gonna do now? I'm gonna have to start again. They said because he left and he's gone back home, they cannot find anyone. They're struggling to find someone anyway. So they said they're gonna see what they can do. So that time again, I'm on my own again, still, still caring for my son. Um, they still haven't found anyone. Still haven't heard anything from the social worker. She left. She sent me a text and saying she's leaving. She's gonna go to live in another city, and so they she left. I haven't heard anything. So I go back to the solicitor and I said to him, I'm back again with no care in the house. Um, he said, let me contact them and find out what's going on. He contacted them. They said they're gonna try to get an agency again, someone from an agency. I said, okay. They said they're gonna send some people from an agency to come to my house and I should meet them. They come to the house. Um, I met them. There was like 3 people, like they would send them here and they're not trained. So I'm still getting carers in my house with no training. Some of them they've never done care work. So they're saying I'm not allowed to leave them. Same thing with him. They have to be trained and signed off before I can leave them. So there are like 3 people here. No one is trained. I am still doing everything, and they're just here watching.
Is it that there's no trained carers in the UK? Why is it that they keep sending people that without training to you? Why?
That's what I'm telling you. This is what they keep. And everything is on paper. Everything I'm telling you is on paper because I had to obtain a solicitor. Remember, she went to the panel, and after going to the panel, it stated that the system failed him. After coming from the panel, she said she's going to provide care after moving in the house. After moving in the house, still no carer. She said, they said, go get legal help. We are not providing anyone. I had to get a solicitor to get someone who is still not trained. They sent the 3 people here. It was 2 lady and a man and myself. I've got a younger son. So obviously in the morning with Daniel, it takes up to 2 hours to get him dressed and get him washed and ready for school. Because if you see most of the pictures I send you, is I take them when like after I finish getting him dressed for school.
And this is
You
the
know?
next thing, as Susie just said, you had to be training the caregiver.
Yes, it's on paper. Yes, yes.
I've
Um,
never heard such nonsense a day in my life.
Trust me, it's all on paper. Um, and I'm in the house. I'm still buying nappies and gloves. I'm still buying you know, essential stuff like what you should have been getting from the companies like Jessie May, Charlton Farm, CCG. All of these places turned us down, but they're the ones that the social worker should be working with to provide these things for him. So you've got all these organizations, but yet still nothing is in place. The social worker left, so they provide me with a new social worker now. So she come in. They send 3 carer here, because uh, Emmanuel went back to Africa. All these carer were Africans, so they haven't got no training. They're just here. So while they're here, I'm looking after Daniel. I s- I I've been complaining to the solicitor about these things, because I put it even in writing, stating that, the carer, they're here, they're not trained. Um, I can't leave them with him because his needs is so high, and it's like they just come here, and this is it. They found them from anywhere and they just send them to my house. Um, they're here, not doing anything, just sitting around, nothing. So one day, the manager from the agency, she come to the house, and she seen one of the character. What they used to do, they used to come here and they used to leave whenever they're meant to be here from 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock. So they would leave whenever they like, come whenever they like, and you know what I mean. So she came here and she fired one of the carer. Um, he left. They said he's not gonna come back. Because what he was doing, he used to come here. He's meant to be here from the 4 o'clock, and he used to finish. He's meant to be finished at 8 o'clock, but he used to come here. Um, he was used to be around the back smoking, and when he finished, he just leave whenever.
So
You know.
all three so-called carers would be there at the same time, right?
Yes.
So 3 people in your house, none of them professionally trained. So while they're there, what exactly do they do? Because if you're the only one that is trained and can leave them when they're supposed to be helping you, what exactly are they're there doing?
They call it shadowing. So they said they should shadow me. They're not saying I'm training them. What they, because they use words play. They say, we are gonna go there to shadow mom, and after a few months, like maybe after 4 weeks, we would send in a nurse, and the nurse would oversee to see if they're okay with, and we could sign off them to leave them with my son. That's how they said it's gonna work. um that's what they said should happen.
Right,
But
but
these people,
my question is, what I'm asked, I understand they're there to shadow you, but what exactly are they doing while they are there? Exactly. What is
nothing.
it that they are doing?
They don't do nothing.
Just watching you doing
Nothing. They just
watching you
watch.
take care of him?
Y- yes. That's what they call it. They call it shadowing, and they should watch me care for him. And from there, they learn as they watched. You understand? That's what they were here doing. So they usually come from 4 o'clock and finish at 8 o'clock. Um, but they were here. They started. They leave whenever they want. They were coming whenever they choose. Because obviously, at this point now, I started to realize, like, it's more so about them coming here to get paid, because they weren't doing anything. And it's not because they're not doing anything, and it's like these people are opening agency, and obviously they're from Africa. They just send them here, and they're just here to get paid, and they're saying, i.e., their agency, their care agency. You understand what I mean? So they just send them here. um I said to the solicitor, this is madness. I am still here every evening. Daniel is home from school at 3 o'clock. When they get here, mostly everything is almost finished anyway. All when he gets home from school, and he's in his pajama, I would like put him in bed, get him dressed for bed, or I would take him outside in the garden. It depends on the weather. Or I take him to the park. They would, they would follow me to the park. But I would be, because obviously they're not trained to do anything. Because you not being trained is very dangerous. So that's it, really. So I said to the solicitor, this is not working out. They're going to have to provide someone with somewhat training to come to the house. And these people are like, there's like 3 people here every day. And all they're sitting down. Who is not sitting down is outside. He said, they said that they're here. He said social care said they're providing these people and they're waiting for them to be trained so I can have the respite. But they have to be signed off. You know. Okay. The agency the agency stopped working with them, and the agency left. I was happy because I was happy when they said they're not using that agency anymore. So I started doing everything back on my own, caring for my son. I stopped communicating with the social worker, the new one, as much, because I was seeing that this is just madness. Um, he was meant. They said he needed an operation on his both of his legs. Um, from I was living in the old house, but because of the house, he couldn't get the operation. But I was saying that he didn't need the operation because knowing him, obviously, if it's not something that he needs, it can cause him, it can cause his life. So I said he didn't need the operation. They said yes, he needs it. The physio at school said yes, he needs it. It's gonna make things easier for him when he's standing up in his standing frame. You know, I said he didn't need it. That operation was the worst thing that ever happened to my son. Um, I said to her, she contacted me, and I said to her, um, I've got the date for the operation, but I am not gonna take him to do the operation because there's no care in the house. And obviously, when he gets home from hospital, this is a operation where he's gonna be in a lot of pain, and he doesn't sleep at night. So with him, he would sleep like maybe a few like 3 hours, and he would be awake all night. And that's the way from he was born, he's like that. So he doesn't sleep like 8 hours. He would never sleep he would sleep the max 4 hours, and he likes attention. So he likes you being in his room. He likes sensory light. So most of the time, looking caring for him, I'm awake. You know. So I said to her, I'm gonna push back the operation. She said, no, they said he needs it in. I think it's a good idea. You need to take him. I said, okay. This is in July this year. Um, I take him to do the operation, and after taking him to do the operation, it was a Thursday. He went in. They said they're gonna do a hamstring lengthening. So, right behind your back of your foot where your knee is, behind it, they cut behind his foot, both of them. And she said it's something to do with some hamstring lengthening, and he's gonna have to be in gaiters. So he's like braces on his legs for 2 weeks. Do not take them off during the time. Don't give him a wash. Just wipe him. Only take them off after the 2 weeks. But take him to the clinic. Let them remove it and put it back on. He's meant to wear them for 2 weeks, and then after the 2 weeks, he can wear them like maybe like a few hours. After the operation, the Thursday, he was on the Friday. He was on tramadol, paracetamol, Nurofen, Calpol. He was on chlorohydrate. He was on clonidine. He was on lots of medication. I've never seen him on so much painkillers and medication. He was in so much pain. He didn't sleep all night. Friday he was in pain, and I was giving him the painkillers, and he was still in pain. The Saturday all day he was in pain. He was in pain the Saturday. At one point I felt like I was gonna tear my hair out my head because he was constantly just screaming, and I was still giving him the painkillers because they said just give him every 7 hours. So I was giving him the painkillers every 7 hours, but he was in so much pain I had to call the ambulance. So I called the ambulance, and they come to the house. I was explaining to them, and they said they're gonna have to check him over, and if he's in so much pain, what they're gonna have to do, they're gonna have to take him to the hospital, being as he's in, this pain, and it's from the operation. Um, you know, he went into to any the Saturday for the pain. He was there the Monday because the ambulance was saying that there should be someone here because he just had the operation, and obviously, it's 24-hour care. So they contacted social services and explained to them that, he was in, they need to put something in place. And the manager that's works, the social worker, she works, they works beneath her. Melinda Drew, they contacted her. She contacted me. She said we're gonna put something in place um for him. They've got this agency that's called Tombry Agency. It's a good agency. They're very trained, they're very qualified, but they're very expensive. They only send nurses out to your house with a child with such needs. Um, they they started using Tombry Agency. So he came out of the hospital. They sent a nurse here. The only thing with the nurse is you have to just hand over what the day was like and what's next, and they would know what to do from there because they're, what I mean, they're qualified, they're fully trained. Um, After coming out of the gators, after the 2 weeks, they would send a nurse here maybe like one time a week, and they would say, "Oh, the agency cannot find anyone." Um, I'm still caring for him. After his foot came out of the gators and the stitches dissolved, I noticed his foot starts his right foot mostly. It You couldn't touch it. So it would scream or you would cry every time you touched it. And I think I sent you pictures of his foot, and he would scream, and I I I started saying to them that something is wrong with his foot. It's not the same. You can't touch his foot. You can't even stretch it out. He would even allow you to stretch his foot out. The left foot at the bottom part of his foot where his shoes is, I could even put his trainers on no more. It's starting to bend flat. Um, I started to say to them, something is wrong with his foot. Um, I I took him to A&E 6 times for his foot to try to see about the surgeon who did the operation to explain to her and show her so she could see, I don't know what he did to his foot, but he's in so much pain that you can't touch his foot. You can't stretch it out. If you try to massage it, he would scream. He's on so much painkillers. I've never seen him like this. I don't know. I take him to A&E 6 times. Still can't see the surgeon. Um, I tried contacting her secretary because you can't get to her. You have to get through to the secretary, and the secretary would say she most of the time she's on holiday. She would write to you, nothing. I still try now. I'm still trying now because every time I go to any, I'm asking for her because she did the operation. Um, I she booked an appointment to see him in clinic after going there to see her a few times, and I couldn't get in contact with her. She said she booked an appointment. I took him to the clinic. She looked at his foot and she said she thinks she might have tightened behind your foot there's like the nerves. Perhaps she's tightened the nerves too much, and she thinks that's what's maybe causing him the pain. Um, but she was just doing her best. So what she's gonna have to do, she's gonna have to book him to come back in to give him some Botox and put back the braces on his foot so he could wear them for a few hours. But with the braces, just put them on whenever. She said don't put too much pressure on the foot because obviously, if I'm looking at his foot and seeing the way it is when she's trying to move it, the right one and the left one at the bottom, she's just gonna have to try with the Botox, but she would keep in contact with me. After that, seeing her that time, I haven't heard anything from her. I didn't hear from her after that.
No,
Um,
we sorry to stop you, but we have 5 minutes left in the program. We've been going for 2 hours. No, I know you haven't gotten to how he passed on as yet, but with only 5 minutes remaining, I think it's best we schedule you for a part two if that's okay with you, so that we can continue this
okay,
one. Okay.
okay,
So we'll
okay,
schedule you for a part two, and then you could continue from where we left off tonight. Okay.
okay, that's fine.
All right. So I'll give you a call after the program. Well, I'll give you a call tomorrow because it's pretty late right now, especially in the UK. And I'll let you know which night I'm
Okay,
going to reschedule you for. All right.
okay, that's fine. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk soon. All right, Unstoppable family. I apologize. I know a lot of you wanted to hear how this all ended, but as you can see, or as you heard just now, we've been going for 2 hours, and there's still a lot more that she has to get into, you know, um, which may take us into another hour. So just to prevent that, I had to reschedule the program. So if you want to hear the rest of what she has to get into, definitely stick and stay and tune in for the part two of her situation. Right? It's really a sad one, as I told you from the beginning of the stream, that it would be a very sad one tonight. And this mother is really going through a rough ordeal. Off air, she stated to me that Unstoppable, I have a very hard time even sleeping. I can't sleep at night because of this situation. And even if I doze off for a little bit, you know, I wake right back up because I'm going through it. It's a really sad situation that she is facing, and especially after losing her son. All right. But family, I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight, both on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much. And to everyone who shared out the program, it's appreciated. All right. I'm going to try and schedule her back for her part two real soon. Now, for those of you who is still waiting on the story we did the other day with the lady who I scheduled for her part two as well, her part two will be tomorrow night. All right. So make sure to tune in. I'm trying to remember what that title was. Let me see. Let me check it. So most of you will remember what exactly I'm talking about. All right. Where all I only did I say Unstoppable. When will her part two be? Because we don't want to miss it. All right. So I'm telling you no. Okay, the program that was titled where the thumbnail says his woman attacked me with an ice pick while I was at work. That program's part two will be tomorrow. All right. Yes, Tush Pumpkin. That one. All right. No, not that. Not that Tush Pumpkin. The one where the woman was at work, the teacher, and the man's other woman did sit down out at the gate and wait for her with the ice pick. So that will be part two tomorrow night. All right. So if you want to continue listening to that part two, tune in tomorrow night, 9 p.m. sharp. All right. Family, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And definitely I will see you all Friday night for yes, definitely that one. All right. I will see you Friday night for another awesome, powerful, empowering program. All right. It's pretty late right now. I'm gonna try and make my way out of here. So I will see you all Friday night. Stay blessed. Stay strong. Good night.
See the music, 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 move your waistline, move your shoulders, see the music, move your waistline, move your shoulders,
This music got me feeling like them way up high, sipping martinis and blue slushes with umbrellas up high.